Okay. So I got on here to talk about something that I was made aware of last night. What I'm about to talk about, this impacts all communities, no matter your ethnicity. If you are not a millionaire, if you are a working class member of society, or short of that, this applies to all of us. So last night, I seen two posts from two representatives for the state of Texas. I'm talking to Texas, but this is for all states, okay? This is concerning the Senate, the House of the Senate, and the House of Representatives, okay? I seen two posts. One, Beaumont's House Representative Christian Manuel, and I'm not sure, well, I believe Crockett, Jasmine Crockett, shout out to her. She made a post. So this is the thing. There is something called gerrymandering. Gerrymandering is something that the government uses, or legislation uses, to zone particular areas. A way that it is used to that can have an impact on us are to not ensure that equal representation is distributed is by gerrymandering. So one of the two representatives talked about how as of July. July 21st, I guess Abbott is calling, people to come in. I'm just reading right here where it says the legislator, Abbott, is calling them in to, rezone, basically, different areas for gerrymandering. And hold on, let me as I'm doing this, pull this up, because I want to be able to say it right. I learned a little bit about it in school a couple of semesters ago. So gerrymandering is the way that legislature manipulate boundaries of the electoral constituency so as to favor one party or class. I'm going to say that again. Gerrymandering is used as a way to manipulate boundaries, to manipulate areas, to manipulate sections of a town, state, or community to help in the electoral constituency. The electoral constituency, as we know, is the one who really determines who takes presidency and, you know, the House. I mean, the government, right? Whoever becomes president. We know it's not based on majority, it's based on electoral. And this has been even, I remember reading in the Constitution, and I really couldn't really articulate it, but I remember reading something. I said, oh, this how they ensure the electoral vote. So basically they manipulate the boundaries and all of that to ensure the numbers they need for the electoral count. So to favor whatever party or class that they want to win. And as you know, Texas is a red state. I've heard on anybody want to get informed, it's time as black people, it's time, not just black people, all people, even Caucasian community that is not informed, okay? It's time we get informed and get that information. But anyway, the Midas Touch Network talked about how Texas you really does use voter suppression. Okay. Hey, Pastor Gardner, how you doing? But and that's how they keep power, because if you look at, let's just take Beaumont for example. Beaumont, Texas, in numbers is predominantly African American, but when you look at the voting that go on, it don't look like that. And that's because, you know, we have not been participating. We've lost that participation. And so basically that's what I'm up on here talking about. Okay. So that we could look at this situation, because it's about to be some stuff that pop off. Okay. But anyway, on the 21st, Abbott is calling the House, you know, the legislature to come in because they about to rezone. And the purpose of doing this is to ensure that the seats that belong to minority representation. What is minority representation? Minority representation in the House or in the Senate is basically somebody that is on the state level and in the government that is actually able to advocate for our needs in our community, to speak to our needs in the community, to let government know, hey, this is what my constituents have need of. These are the policies we need. These are the laws and legislations we need to help strengthen our community. That's what proper representation looks like. And that's what representation looks like in government. And that's why it is so important for us to have that representation. That is why it is important for us to have that representation. Because when we do not have that representation, we are not heard. We don't even exist in terms of funding appropriations, money that is being set aside, or money that has been allocated to address some of the needs that we have in our community. Maybe if it's, I don't know, crime prevention, mental health services, I don't know, funding to build adequate homes so that people have access to homes. This looked like appropriation for medical facilities to be built in communities so that people have access to medical services. This looks like representation of money that is allocated for, I don't know, agriculture, to ensure that we have adequate food stores and we're not living in food deserts in our communities. That is the purpose for proper representation. Okay? And what is going to take place if we do not get a grip and start utilizing our power our God-given right to vote at minimum. It's going to be a problem. Last night, because when I seen this, it bothered me. It really did bother me. I asked, and the representative did respond and say what it is that we needed to do. Damn, where I did with that thing? Because I had it like too. He did say what we needed to do to prevent this. I did respond, asked again for the number that we need to call as a community. I haven't gotten it yet. I didn't see that, but it's no need to wait any longer. I just pulled it up. So I asked him, what is it that we need to do to ensure that we don't lose these seats? Because there's 4 seats that he said is, him and Jasmine Crockett said is about to be taken. These are delegated seats for Democratic representation. Let me make this real simple, people, because I think we've been confused about parties, okay? Let me be clear on my position. Neither one of them is doing what they need to do, okay? Let me get that let me say that. For the most vulnerable communities and the most at-risk human beings on planet Earth in America. Let me say that. Number 2, this is just what I've observed. When you have Republicans in the House, there is one thing for certain you could bet on. The rich is going to get richer. Okay? Not the common white person that's equivalent to what we call ninjas. Not the common white person that may be living in trailer communities and stuff like that, or working class Caucasian or Anglo-Saxon, whatever ethnicity name you want to use. Not that demographic. But whenever the Republicans are in the House, the top get the most benefit. Now, for small business owners, are there some, write-offs and things and that nature that may help them? Absolutely. I'm sure it is. Okay. Just owning a business and knowing your tax code and knowing how to properly pull and work your tax codes will ensure that anyway. That is why Trump was able to pay, what'd he say, $400 in taxes? That's why. So whether Republicans are in the House or not, when you are a business owner and being well informed on business tax coding, that's what benefits you. That's what gets your money. Not creating policies that deprive vulnerable people for being in more danger. So one thing's for certain with the Republicans, the rich gonna get richer. The business owners is gonna stay being the business owners they've been, okay? Which is, when I say business owner, meaning private, not private business owner, small business owner. They gonna stay being the small business owners that they are, okay? They not Fortune 500 companies, okay? Number 2, there will be war. Whenever we have Republicans in the homes and we at war. We don't think about these things because, again, we don't think about these things, okay, for various different reasons. So that's what you could be certain of. And you can also be certain that there will be policies that are in place that really don't, hey, Tamala, that really don't strengthen vulnerable communities to help them become resilient. Those three things you could count on when Republicans in the House. You could count on war, you could count on the rich getting richer, and you could count on programs that does not help vulnerable or working class people to get ahead. That's what you could count on. With the Democrats, this is what you could count on. Social services probably given to not just some people, but as we seen, and let's just put it on out there because I just be real, okay? One of the things that we seen with these policies and in the communities with the African American and the Hispanic community. I'm gonna just breathe and be real, and this is not to offend nobody, but this is just simply to put out there our truth so that we can acknowledge it, deal with it, address it, and move forward in strength, okay? One of the things that many people had an issue with in America, which is why the Republican was so successful, is because we were seeing all over people, I'm not going to use the word illegal immigrants, but people that were from other countries coming to this country, benefiting from resources that people from this country didn't even get. I'm going to say that again. The problem that Americans had is that we were seeing people from other countries coming here, benefiting from resources and getting all type of resources that, I'm going to just be real, ninjas ain't got. Okay? And don't confuse Section 8 food stamps and Medicaid with resources. Let's be very clear. Yes, we do have, as we do in all communities, Caucasian and Black, okay? Which that ain't the only communities, and his Asians or whatever. In every community, you will have people that just sit and do nothing and try to soak up what they can. But you also have people in these communities that work very hard. And although they work very hard, they still not able to make ends meet for whatever reasons. I don't know. Maybe they got a job. Maybe they didn't go to college and put themselves in a higher pay bracket, which is majority what the problem be. Or they did not go get a skill or a trade that put them in a better pay bracket. And so the only thing they knew to do was go get a job. These are the people in our community and our infrastructure and our society that we need. We need the grocery store clerk. We need the janitors. We need the school bus drivers. We need the people that plant and do agriculture. We need all of these things. We need the bank teller. We need, all of these things, which is why we going in the direction we going in and why AI is basically going to eliminate all of this stuff. But anyway, I say all that to say this. Those 4 seats that is about to get rezoned out, if we don't do something, is going to impact anybody that's not wealthy and a millionaire. How do we stop it, Gayla? Because you just said a whole bunch and all I heard was a problem. I didn't hear a solution. Well, the representative, when I asked him, he did confirm, yes, that is gerrymandering at its highest degree. He said what we need to do is, 1, inform everybody that this going on. 2, ask everybody to call the governor's office and tell the governor